Matt and I kiss for the first time in the back bay fens beneath a tree. It is night, and I've just asked him if he knows what a shotgun is. He says no. So I take a long drag on the pipe packed full of dank weed, and I let the smoke curl past my lips like ivy down his throat. That's a shotgun, I say. Pressing my forehead against his, he smiles. Steam escapes him in a sigh. His teeth catch moonlight. Then the azure wailing of a siren as a cop car roars off Boylston and skids across the grass towards us. We split apart. Matt chucks the bowl. We try to walk away as casually as possible. But then the floodlight snaps on and the cop says through his radio, "Freeze." This is my first date. People like to say the gay rights movement started with a riot. It did not. There were plenty of us working peacefully towards the right to love each other openly, that is, exist whilst unimprisoned and with any luck employed, since before the word homosexual was invented. We like to remember Stonewall because that's the first time we took on the cops and won. A momentary triumph, sandwiched in between years and years spent on our knees before the throbbing billy clubs of boys in blue. Even in the bars and neighborhoods we claimed as ours, we were too unruly to be left ignored, that is, unbeaten, until the plague came and the bruises surfaced from the inside. Then it seems we were a problem better left unmanaged. Ah, but alas, you've come for poetry and found instead a screed. I'll start over. Underneath a tree, I kiss a boy whose leather jacket is still warm from the apartment where we scored the weed that haunts the space between our mouths. The year is 2001. Matt and I met on a dating website, one designed specifically for gay minors in search of love. I am 17, and I am afraid to meet a stranger, so I've brought a chaperone. Her name is Laura, but she goes by Desdemona. She's the one who sold us weed. When the police cruiser lurches through the darkness towards our bodies, Desdemona is the one who does the talking. When he asks us if we have drugs, she swears we were only smoking cigarettes. He says, "All right, then. In the future, look at it from my perspective, guys. I see you in the park behind a tree. What am I supposed to think?" After the cop leaves, we take a few minutes to find Maddie's piece half buried in the rough. For the rest of the night, we will debate whether or not the cop knew we were smoking weed. Because we are, all three of us, white, we do so from outside of prison. All systems are inherently fascist. Let me explain. In order for there to be an organization, there must be a hierarchy. Such hierarchies are self-servingly constructed by the powerful and the few. We like to think here in America that we've bypassed this hierarchical problem with a meritocratic economic system and an electoral democracy, but with all due respect, lol. The marginalized, that is, the not straight, not white, not male, not cis, not wealthy, had no direct hand in the writing or construction of our republic. Since then, a lucky few have not so much been given power as we have been given access to power. Like all instances of the word access, a price is here implied. This is not a system that my people invented, but it is one in which we can thrive if we can afford to stay disciplined and inconspicuous. That is, silent and unseen. Matt and I met on a dating website. Every man I've ever dated has entered my life artificially. It's a lot more common for straight couples to meet now through online personals or apps, but for the homosexual, this has been the norm for decades. The alternatives were dangerous, public cruising spots mostly, and these riddled with muggers, thieves, and last but certainly not least, police. The internet arrived and drained the park benches and back rooms of their pesky public sex. It organized the cruise park into an electronic system, replaced knowing glances, sweaty palms, and raw necessity with racy photographs of pornographic bodies. These bodies are most often cis, able, and white. They skew towards men with memberships to fancy gyms, access to personal trainers, healthy food, access, money, power, hierarchy. Most young gay men were born to a world of public emptinesses they don't know enough about to mourn. How could we know? The generation before mine and Matt's was more than decimated by disease, it was obliterated. Before we were old enough to claim a culture meant to be our birthright, it was bought out from beneath the piles of our dead. We grew up in a vacuum first, and then a grid. Who would tell us of our wild history, our long-standing association with the civil rights movement, our roots in anti-capitalist activism? Billionaire straight men owned The Advocate. They owned Out Magazine. They still own Grindr. Oh man, this part of the park is safe, but see that tall grass over there? Matt points across the river from our tree. Don't go there unless you're trying to get molested by a bunch of dirty old men. He laughs. I say, ew, gross. Laura packs the bowl. We all smoke weed. Matt and I kiss as the cop car lurches towards our bodies. Dez is hidden by a low-slung branch. The three of us then try to scatter casually, but freeze in the impossibly bright spotlight of the cop car. Desdemona does the talking. Haloed by the law, she's striking. Eyes blue as the siren. Seeing her, the cop's demeanor changes. He says, all right then, and drives away. There is no chance he missed the smell of reefer in the air, but that was never his concern. Matt and I, alone, behind a tree, a deep kiss, the tall grass, close enough to hear it shuffle in the breeze. Look at it from his perspective, guys. What was he supposed to think?